Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome back to part 12 today of this Williams resurrection career on Motorsport Manager. Last time out we were in Singapore. We had a really good race. Sergei Sorokin having the best race of his season so far, an amazing 5th place finish for him there. Robert Kubica, slight sort of, not really a mishap, but we had to do sort of like an extra pit stop with him. We went for the inters. We could have got him straight onto the wets. I think he'd probably, maybe it could have got to 7th or 8th, or maybe would have been in this 10th place anyway, but no worries there. We're still dry and safe from being relegated. We have now got an amazing 51 points, which is a lot better than I thought we would be doing this season. We've had some really good races over the last couple of races, mainly due to our strategy around rain that has come throughout the race. A couple of good qualifying sessions. The AI, even though we try to avoid the AI messing up, a lot of the cars tend to do 2 stints straight away. Do 2 qualifying laps even when it's raining, then don't come out towards the end of the session when it's dry. Not to worry, it moved us up the order a little bit in qualifying, and we've had some really good races off the back of that. As regards to the rest of the standings, Mercedes are on top in the constructors. I think they've only just recently overtaken Red Bull. Ferrari almost 30 points behind. It's going to be interesting going into the end of the season. As we've seen, Hamilton's form has recently picked up over the last 4 races. He's won 3, Vettel's won 1 and had 2 second places and 1 third place, whereas Hamilton came second in the race. He didn't win. So it's going to be really interesting going into the end of the season, seeing if Lewis can pick up that 15-point gap. Meanwhile, as regards to our car, we're just working on the performance of the last few parts that we've got in the car that we can increase the performance on. Once that's done, everything is going to be focused on to next year's parts, because we've sort of forgone the upgrade schedule for this year. Our next upgrade schedule, we could have introduced new parts in Phoenix. If you've seen my videos before, I can only introduce parts at certain races throughout the season. Phoenix would have been the next one, but we're not going to be building any parts that are going to be suitable to go in the car, as they will be risky. We're just sort of concentrating on getting everything ready for next year's car. If we can do that, hopefully there are some gains to be made. The engine, we introduced upgrades in the last one, is now rated 3rd overall, so it is the only part where we are at least comparable, or at least a little bit better. If you look at that, we're better than the Honda engine that Red Bull have got. Renault, it's going some way. I don't know whether that's all to do, whether that's had the effect we've been having in the races recently, but whether that was down to the rain. But this is should be a dry race in Russia. It's cloudy for the race, so there might be a risk of a little downpour. We never know. But we're going to see if this engine upgrade has made the difference to our season going forward. Obviously, from this point forward, we'll start falling behind as other cars start to introduce their upgrades over the remaining 6 races. As regards, we're just building a new suspension. We're trying to get a few parts up. We can't really see where we're going to be at until the end of the season, where we can put a few of these parts into the new car and see where they're going to be next season. As it is, the car is rated 9th overall at the moment. Our drivers are rated 9th overall. The team of Kubica and Sorokin rated better than the Sauber team of Ericsson and Leclerc. So hopefully we can get something going. So in this race in Russia, last time out, if you watched the last episode, you will have seen that I have introduced qualifying into the videos. We're going to be doing that again. We're going to keep that little test, little shake up with the format going. So we'll be back in a second for qualifying once practice is done. So here we go with qualifying. Sorokin at his home Grand Prix, a lot quicker than Kubica this weekend. So I usually send Kubica out second of our 2 drivers. There's no AI there. The AI cars come out. Thought they weren't going to come out early then. But as I was saying, Sorokin a lot quicker at his home Grand Prix, so he's going to come out second. He's the usual one that we send out first, because Kubica usually has a bit more performance in him. I don't know whether a lot of that extra quickness is down to do with Sorokin's form at the moment. He's on top form. So we're just going to see what we can get out of our first qualifying lap. I'm not quite sure of the times, but maybe up in the high 117s. 118 was the quickest in practice from Lewis Hamilton, I would guess, or whether that's the time to aim for. Kubica's already half a second down on Sebastian Vettel on that first sector. Sorokin about to set his first sector. Are still quicker. We're going to be able to see 1.1 Kubica's down at the moment. We're not really going to be able to tell until the end of the lap as these times keep changing. Sorokin looking pretty quick though. Kubica does a 118.5, so quite a way off the pace. And the lower 117s for the other cars. So as we can see, Sorokin still a little bit quicker here after the first qualifying run. Kubica a little bit slower here. We're just going to let the other cars run around, and then we'll be able to see where we're at in the overall standings. It looks like we're going to be 18th and 20th, which is not a good performance for us. I don't think there's any rain coming late on in the session. But as we've seen some of the middle order cars get their second stint out of the way really early. As we can see, who's out at the moment? We've got the Haas, we've got the Force Indias, and we've got the Sauber. So like the other bottom three teams, they come out and do their second stint really early. They don't come out at the end of the session once the track's got more grip, which would be better, which does give us a little bit of an advantage over them, I've got to admit. But anyway, we're just going to skip until the end of the session now, and we'll be back out without... Oh, the Toro Rosso guys have come out as well. I think Leclerc's going to pick up his time as well just before we skip. Leclerc moves up to 11th, obviously with a little bit more gripped in track, but I don't think they're going to be coming out for another lap again. But anyway, we're going to go ahead to the end of the session and we'll be back with our second qualifying lap. Right now, in fact, so the other cars are going to start to come out. We're going to send Sorokin out second, so we're going to get Kubica out first. We'll give him a little bit of a run away from the pits before we set Sorokin off. It looks like he could be the last car out of the pits as well. We've got the Mercedes and Ferrari at the head of the group, and we're going to be following the Red Bulls around with Sorokin. So hopefully we can pick up some time and gain some time on these Saubers and Toro Rossos. They put in a couple of good laps when they did their second stint earlier on. We have now got to try and match them. Kubica was a little bit overheated. Sorokin gets overheated and good. I don't know if we're going to be able to pick up time. The track is not as much gripped in as it was. Well, it's a little bit more, but not that much. Kubica looks a little bit quicker here. 0.2 is about half a second down on that first lap and 1 second down, as we see cars got a lot quicker on this second stint. But I'm guessing we've got a lot of room to make up here. Kubica as well. It looks like Sorokin's down on Kubica, so Kubica only moves up to 17th. What can Sorokin do? Can he go any quicker? Coming around the final corner, Sorokin goes 20th. He didn't actually pick up much time at all there and ends up slower than Kubica and at the back of the grid. So unlike him this weekend, he has been quicker all weekend than Kubica. But Kubica, as usual, puts that last qualifying stint in and does a pretty decent lap, although it's still quite far down, although it is sort of where we would expect to be at the back of the grid. Hopefully we can get something going with the strategy here. So if we just move on, come on, hurry up. So we won't fill that in yet. We just need to work out what we're going to be doing during the race. It is a 33 lap race. A medium, it's going to be a definite 2-stop race. So whether we want to start out on the super softs, get in early, and then move to a medium tyre that we can push for a little bit and try and make up some ground since we're at the back of the pack. Or maybe if we want Kubica to move up the order a little bit. So we might split strategies here between both cars. We're going to have Kubica run long, whereas Sorokin, since he usually finishes outside the points, not taking into account the last race of course, we're going to try a little bit of a riskier strategy with him. We're going to get him out early on these super softs. The weather is, it was cool in practice, it was 13 degrees in practice, it's 18 degrees now, but that's cool enough that we can push on these without them overheating too much, and maybe look to pit around lap 6, which we should then be able to get to the end of the race if we do a super soft, then the soft, and then a medium. Or maybe super soft, medium, medium, and then we can push on the tyres a little bit more, as there's not too big of a gap between the mediums and the softs. As you can see, these were done on pretty much identical runs with the same fuel. There's only about a half a second gap between them, between the medium and soft, so maybe that is the strategy we should go with. So we're going to set both cars to the medium tyre, since that is possibly what they're going to be on the longest during the race. We'll go for the race trim as well. Driver strategy, we want Kubica to go pretty fast, so we'll keep him looking after those a little bit. And we'll go overtake mode with Sorokin as well. We'll try and move him up the order. He is going to be making that early pit stop and then be coming out onto a pair of medium tyres, so he can push a little bit more in clear air. Hopefully no one else is, although we've got quite a few cars on the super soft, but we're going to push a little bit more on this super soft. As we see both our cars, Sorokin makes that move on Kubica. Kubica on a totally different strategy there. But we see Sorokin up into 18th place. He's going to be able to make up any places using this strategy. Maybe we'll get Kubica pushing like this as well for a little bit. Try and move him up the order in the early going. Don't know whether he's got the pace on these mediums to be doing the same thing that Sorokin's doing. But Sorokin, a couple of good moves, although that is Hartley battling back with him. But Sorokin makes that move stick, tries to get up the inside of Brendan Hartley. Now can he? Has he got the speed with this Mercedes engine? He does. He gets up the inside of Gasly. Hartley coming back at him. He's making it stick. Kubica not able to do anything down here, so we're going to get him going back into just push and high mode. We're going to go back into high mode here. We don't want to waste too much fuel, but Sorokin, an amazing start up into 14th on these super soft tyres, although if you can get far ahead and then be in and out of the pits on those mediums and able to push a little bit on those. Oh, he makes a move, jumping up the inside of Perez. At least it's entertaining in the early going, even if it doesn't amount to much for Sorokin at the end of the race. He manages to get past Fernando Alonso as well. And he's right behind. Is Alonso going to be able to make it back? This Renault engine and Mercedes engine powering down that straight there. Mercedes engine, I don't know whether that's a lot to do for our defence over the last two races, that we've been able to hold cars behind us, whether it is that we've got a powerful engine in the car. And we're just going to attack totally on this tyre. We wanted to get to around lap 6 or 7. It looks like we're going to be able to do that on this super soft tyre. Tyre wear holding up really well today. We're going to go back into medium as well, as a lot of these cars around us are doing, and we might hold off since Kubica's just sort of stuck at the moment. I don't think we're going to be able to do much with him until the end of the race, but Sorokin, having a really good time in his home race now, has moved himself from the back of the grid all the way up to 20th, acting like a top of the order car that's had a penalty. That's had a engine penalty and moved all the way to the back of the grid, up into 10th place for Sorokin. Maybe we should start thinking about cooling these down a little bit. They're in the stage where they're totally overheated, although that's going to let these other cars come back at us. No, we're going to go attack mode. Let's let those other cars back past us, and we're going to make that move stick. I know this is going to totally wear away these tyres, but one more lap out of these tyres and then we're still on strategy for what we wanted to do. It might be a little tight towards the end of the race, but you never know. We might be able to make something happen. If we can make points happen from 17th and 20th, or even just getting up to where Sorokin is now, if he can sort of stay around this sort of area. So we're going to get him pitted now. He's going to get onto this medium compound tyre, and then we can decide what we want to do. Oh, I forgot to change the pit crew before the race as well. So we've got a lot of guys who are really tired here. So we're going to go for the safe pit stop. That puts us at 2.1 seconds. This is 1.8. So we're going to go safe just to make sure we don't make that mistake, because that would ruin our race if we did make that mistake. So hopefully Sorokin can make this stick. We are behind Hulkenberg. Who should we measure ourselves to? Alonso. Alonso and Hulkenberg are around us. So then if we see what we're behind them when we come out of the pits, we'll be able to see if this strategy is kind of working. So we're going to get into high mode. We're going to go high mode on the fuel as well for a little bit. So as we exit the pits now, we are at 30.8. So we're about 18 seconds behind Alonso, 19 seconds behind Hulkenberg. So can we put in a couple of good laps now with this undercut as these super softs wear away for the AI? Can we make that undercut sort of work out for us and get to the end of the race as we are? Meanwhile, Kubica, we're going to get him attacking now for a little bit on these medium tyres. He's sort of having a nightmare of a Grand Prix. We're going to skip ahead a little bit. We'll just get this going a little bit faster. We've seen, who's that? Leclerc pitting already. We're a long way in front of him. And that's 8 seconds we've managed to get in front of him. So we're not going to be able to get a good idea of the lap times until really the next lap is completed, we're going to start seeing anyone file into the pits. We get... who's into the pits? Hulkenberg into the pits. So this is going to be a good test to where we actually got from that earlier pit stop. Are we going to get anywhere near Hulkenberg? We do. So we actually passed Hulkenberg with the undercut there. Meanwhile, Alonso doing 1:23.5. So we are a second quicker than him. So we're moving up the order. So being on that super soft has sort of made this stick, because as we see, Hulkenberg has now gone on to the medium tyres as well. And Kubica starting to move up the field a little bit. He's managed to get past Ericsson, and he's going to make a move stick on Kevin Magnussen this time. So we're going to get his tyres in and out of the way onto a pair of fresh softs, or maybe do the middle stint on the medium compound tyre as well, and we'll just sort of blow through those tyres as well. But Sorokin now up in the 122.6 as compared to, although Alonso started going a little bit quicker now. And we don't really have to watch the fuel as yet, but we're keeping ahead of Hulkenberg. That's working out a treat for us. So what are we behind Alonso now? About 18 seconds. We've only picked up about a second, but his tyres are going to start wearing away. We've got a couple of other cars hitting the pits, like the that is a Mercedes of Hamilton. Is that Alonso we see into the pits? How are we going to be able to get past Alonso here? And are we? He's into the pits. We're going to beat him out of the pits as well. So it has worked so far. Managed to get in, although he's on a quicker compound tyre now. We're going to go back into neutral for a little bit. Alonso possibly pushing that tyre all out here, so maybe we'll stay in high mode just till he decides to turn down his tyres as well. I don't know whether we're going to be able to hold him off. Kubica's a little bit further up the road. These tyres are just going to push through these tyres. And we've got 24 laps remaining, so we can comfortably do it on a medium and a soft. Temperatures, no rain coming. Temperature looks like it's going to stay at 18 degrees through the race, and Kubica now gets himself up above Magnussen, or was he fighting with Magnussen and has dropped down? Sorokin meanwhile still holding off this Renault-powered McLaren on the straights. Is he going to be able to catch us on the corners? As Alonso turned down? No, Alonso's still pushing all out on these soft tyres at the moment. Sort of forcing our hand to stay in front of him. Would it be better to execute our strategy and sort of let him pass? But if we release him, he's going to move on up the road. So if we can just sort of hold him up for a little bit now. And these medium tyres, should we get off them early onto another fresh pair of mediums, or should we go another 2 laps with Kubica? What are we doing at the moment? A 1:23. So we've still got decent pace with Kubica. A 1:23.7. He drops off a little bit on that last lap. We're going to see what he's doing on this lap compared to the last one. What's his pace like in the first section? He's 1.5 seconds up. Right, so we're going to keep Kubica out. No, he's going to get in this lap. He's dropped to 18% now as those tyres hit the wall on regards to being overheated too much. And we might even get onto the super soft for the end. But we're going to blow through this medium tyre as well. Don't really care about it being overheated. We're just trying to make something stick here and pick up as much places as we can. There's a few places that Sorokin can sort of aim for. We would be ahead of Ocon once Ocon pits as well. So Ocon, Hartley, Gasly, Ericsson, Magnussen are all teams that we can, all cars that we can get above with Sorokin. So he's sort of held on to what he's been doing recently. Everyone should be going for a 2-stop in this race unless cars are going for 2 mediums. Has anyone gone for 2 mediums? We could be seeing these cars go for 2 mediums. Obviously, I could have gone for 2 mediums if I wanted and gone for a 1-stop. But as per my own rules on this career, I've got to use 2 different tyre compounds. We see some of the other cars pitting. So where's Sorokin going to be? A mistake on the rear right for Kubica. Sorokin sees himself up into 12th. Kubica, meanwhile, finds himself down in 19th. A mistake on that pit stop. Hopefully we're not going to get a mistake on Sorokin's pit stop. The pit crew are very tired, it seems. And Alonso started to fall off the back of us now, so we can start recovering some fuel, at least at the moment. So we're just going to blow through this tyre as well. We're right at the back of the pack here. No one that we can get past, although he can get past Magnussen, who has yet to pit. Although I'm guessing they're going to try a 1-stop of these cars that are out. I'm guessing they're going to go and do the cheap way of doing a 1-stopper on 2 of their hardest tyre compounds. Meanwhile, we're still holding off Alonso, who I think is 4th in the Drivers' Championship. He is, so this is an amazing feat for Sirotkin, managing to keep Alonso behind him in his home Grand Prix. Sirotkin in his home Grand Prix. Kubica, meanwhile, looks like he's sort of being held up here by Charles Leclerc all the way at the back. Not much going on for him this season. So if this is the sort of results we're going to be seeing from Kubica maybe moving forward, it might not be with such a heavy heart that we'll let him go at the end of the season. For Ocon, Ocon's made that pit and he has come in for another set of medium tyres, as we thought. The AI doing this the cheap way of going for 2 mediums. So that is going to work in his favour. They're going to move above us again. So it looks like, because of that, a points finish is out of the way because of the AI doing this the cheap way and going for 2 medium tyres. Although it's pretty much at a stretch to be able to do that because they only got those first mediums around to 15. If they blow through them again, it's going to be hard again for them to get all the way to the end without those tyres being worn. Although, as we know from the medium tyres, they can get all the way down to 0%. And there are 2 cars still in front of us yet to pit. So Sirotkin is basically in 9th place, but it depends whether these cars can get to the end on these mediums. Although they're coming in for medium tyres that are already partly worn. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get pushing on these tyres again a little bit with Sirotkin, because he can go for the other medium tyre as well. So we're going to get pushing again on these medium tyres because we're sort of at the distance we want to be. We've done 10 laps so far with pushing. So if we push for this stint and get these tyres as far as we can from this point forward, if we just push all out, we're going to get on to the second set of mediums that we can go on to and maybe look after those a little bit, but we still do have some room to push on those as well. Behind us we see these cars have gone for softs as well, so that's worked out for us. These are definitely going to have to pit again. These softs can only do 12 laps, so that has worked out. So Sirotkin here could be on for a decent points finish as long as we don't have any major hiccups through the pits. Kubica, meanwhile, still pushing this medium tyre. He obviously can't go onto another medium tyre, so he's gone for 2 mediums. We do have to get onto that soft or even a super soft at some point during this race, although we should be able to just about get to the point where the softs are. I don't think we've got much chance of going for the super softs the way we're pushing the tyres at the moment. Currently still in the 122, in the mid 122s with Sirotkin pushing this tyre all out, so we'll just move on a little bit. We're going to take this another lap after this one maybe, or should we get in this lap? 17%. No, I think we can go another lap, a 122.1 off that lap for Sirotkin. So this is the lap we're going to get in for this second medium tyre. We're going to keep it safe. 32% is too, even 23% is too risky. We need to be taking out power booth. Well, I think we're going to have to rest quite a lot of the pit crew after this race. So hopefully there's not going to be a mistake on Sirotkin's pit stop. That is definitely what we don't need to happen. So here we go. He's going to come into the pits in just a second. Can we get a nice quick pit stop and try and do what we did on this one? We've not lost any time on this one, only 1-2 tenths down on the last lap, which was an amazingly good lap as well. So there we go. Front wrong tyre fitted. Wrong tyre fitted. What the? Is that going to be a massive problem for us? Has that just wrecked up Sirotkin's race? What the hell was that? Wrong. I've never actually seen that before. Wrong tyre fitted. So what are we lapping like? We're going to have to keep him out a lap and just see what the lap times are like on this medium tyre. But I'm guessing they're going to wear a lot of... That front right tyre is going to wear away a lot quicker than the other tyres. So we do a 126 out of the pits. What are we going to be like on this first lap around here? We're going to have to line Kubica up for his pit stop now. Although we can sort of let him go this extra lap so he's ready. He's not going to get all the way down to 0%. Try to get him to go, although he might get down to 0% with the tyres the way they are. So we're going to get in for this soft tyre now. We should see the end of the race, although Hopefully there's not another mistake here. I think that's just wrecked Sirotkin's race. You see Kubica in the pits. It's a decent pit stop, no mistakes there. Sirotkin doing a 122.8, so he's not really losing much time at the moment. Obviously these might not go the same distance that we wanted them to go, so we might just have to go into neutral on the tyres and hope that they can get to the end of the race. Kubica meanwhile 9 seconds behind his teammate. He's possibly got 41 up to 41. He could possibly get up to around here above Hartley depending on where they come out of the pits. Sirotkin meanwhile 52. He's aiming here. If we see Ocon pit again, we could possibly get ahead of Ocon up into the points. Obviously it is all in regards to this tyre of Sirotkin holding up 122.9. He's lapping a little bit slower than I would have been wanting him to, so maybe we're gonna have to, we can't really do it until these other cars come into the pits, and we're not really getting a good read on the what sort of lap times we could be doing because we're being a little bit more conservative this time around. We've got Carlos Sainz behind us on a warm pair of mediums after doing 2 stops, so looks like he could be in for a bit of trouble this afternoon. Hopefully he's not going to trouble us. We don't sort of want him getting ahead of us. These tyres fading away. 74%. They've done 25%. We've been out for 3 laps, so it's going to be touch and go. So we really can't push these tyres because that super soft is going to degrade before the end of the race. And we've seen Hulkenberg's got in and out of the pits in front of us, and we see Sainz get in front of us as well, doing a pit stop. We're going to be too far behind to get another pit stop out of the way. We're just going to have to try and get Sirotkin through to the end of the race. Meanwhile now with Kubica, can we get him pushing a little bit on this soft tyre? He's done a good job holding them back for a little bit. I think at this point we should be able to put it in high mode and get through to the end of the race if we go push. Sirotkin meanwhile, these medium tyres, well, not the mediums wearing away, it's that super soft that's on the front right. Just absolutely terrible. We were in for a chance up with points, but we're in the 123.5s now with Sirotkin. Just can't believe it at all. I've never even seen that before. Wrong tyre type fitted. We still, yeah, we're dropping behind these guys now, so we're in nowhere near touching distance of getting anywhere near the points. Paolo Booth, you absolute nutter. Wrong tyre type. How do you get a set of tyres out, take the blankets off, and not realising that you're putting a super soft on instead of a medium? There we go, 14th and 15th now. Kubica's possibly going to overtake his teammate here. So disappointing because we were on for the points. Magnussen, Ocon, we've got no chance of catching Ocon. We could possibly get past Magnussen again, but there's no one around who's going to be doing any new pit stops, and we've got a couple of guys on fresh super softs as well that might be coming at us at the end of the race. What are our lap times like? We're up into a 122.5, but we didn't have the room to push him in this push mode as much as we wanted to. Let's see what that lap time was like, a 122.4. It looks like they're going to get to the end, but obviously we're getting some cars coming back. Brendan Hartley on this fresh pair of super softs coming back here. Whether Sirotkin can show his amazing defensive capabilities that he's shown over the last race and keep him behind. We've seen Ocon pit and get out in front of us. Kubica get past, no he can't, he's almost, well, he has recovered his fuel. Meanwhile, Sirotkin will need to go back into neutral mode in a second. We might be able to get Kubica back into high mode for the end of the race, although his tyres starting to overheat now, so we're going to have to hold him back so he doesn't fall down the order. Sirotkin though, holding off Brendan Hartley on a fresher pair of tyres. Brendan Hartley being on the fresher pair of tyres, of course, but as we see these down to 28% now. Although yeah, we can keep going in push mode because it can go down. I don't know if they can go down to 0% though. That is the thing with having that super soft, whether these are working as a super soft Will these fall off once they get below 25%? I'm not even sure. Are we going to see... Yeah, well, I think we're seeing some massive drop-off in tyres now, because it's sort of working as a super soft. We did a 122 on the last lap. Obviously, fuel is low at the moment. Well, not low, but we've got pretty much an empty tank, so we should be going a little bit quicker. But are we going to lose time on this lap? Yeah, as we can see, we're a second down on our last lap. What is that? That is a 123.3. So these tyres working as a pair of super softs. These softs of Kubica sort of wearing away. It's a pit crew making a massive blunder. We could have had Sorokin up in the points here and had a consecutive points finish. Possibly, would that be in the third race that we scored points on in a row? But Kubica's going to be able to pass his teammate here heading into the final lap. His tyres are possibly going to wear away as well, so we might go conserve mode just to make sure he can get around. Sorokin, meanwhile, we can go in overtake mode, make sure that he can push at least a little bit. Oh, he gets ahead of Kubica as well. Pushing in overtake mode. We've got overtake as well. A little bit for Kubica, keep him ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc comes at him, he's going to get past Kubica. No, Kubica, that Mercedes engine gets us down the straight, although the tyres have dropped off now, or will drop off. Those softs as they're at 10%. And just get this back to medium. Sorokin's about to run out of fuel. He's going to hold on to this 15th, it looks like, as we come around the final corner. He's got Gasly right on the back end, but Sorokin's going to finish 15th. Drops a lot of time to these cars in front with the mistake in the pit stops. Kubica drops off a little bit at the end. His tyres fell away there right at the end. Not that it matters. Not a good result at all. Although a good result if you consider the state of our car and the drivers we've got in the cars, but it's disheartening knowing we could have been a lot higher up the order without that mistake in the pits, the wrong tyre going on the car. Absolutely dreadful performance. This isn't going to make a difference. There's going to be no one dropping down with any parts that are illegal, so we stay the same ninth. I think Sorokin's dropped down one place behind Roman Grosjean, who actually won that last Grand Prix. I didn't even look at the top of the order. Vettel won, Hamilton second, Daniel Ricciardo third. So Vettel pulls out his advantage in the championship to 22 points. Daniel Ricciardo just about hanging on, and it's a massive gap down to Fernando Alonso. The constructors, meanwhile, Mercedes just 5 points ahead of Red Bull, and Ferrari have gained a little bit, now just 20 points behind the leaders. Then we got McLaren a long way off. Force India, we're within 13 points still. We could have closed up that gap a little bit if we'd have got Sorokin into the points. Paolo Booth, absolutely useless. Williams Racing 51 points, although I'm not gonna push him anyway. It's my fault for not really resting him. He should have been in for a rest, but 9th place overall, £568,000 coming to the team. A little bit less because I had Sorokin do practice because it's his home Grand Prix. As we can see, where is Paolo Booth? Where's he gone? What's happened to... They left because they got so tired? We lost some of our good pit crew because they got tired. We've got no reserves here for some reason. So we're going to have to go ahead and hire some more pit crew. I wonder if you actually let them get too tired. I'm just gonna... No, we're going to hire some more guys as we can. Although D. Osler. And then what we're going to do is... Are we going to give it to Rob Smedley? His concentration, his pit stops are a lot better. We're just going to give it to Smedley to auto-manage. So just don't forget again in future. And we don't... I think we've lost our pit crew as well. I don't think we'll have the best pit crew overall. We don't. We dropped in 9th on the grid pit crew-wise. So an absolute disaster with their pit stops there. But it is what I want. I do like that the game does throw up interesting things like that. You do get the wrong tyre type onto the car. You do get these mistakes which mess up races for you. After his win today... yeah, let's just say we'll love to have that on the team. It opens him up for us, although we're not going to go for him. Pit crew review, 1.8. We performed a total of 4 pit stops. We had 2 pit stop mistakes. Not good, not good at all. HQ 14 weeks away. So yes, the next Grand Prix is the Japanese Grand Prix as we move into the final 5 races of the season. 2 of those being at Phoenix. Phoenix coming up after Yokohama, and then we finish the season with the first ever Formula 1 Oval Grand Prix, which does have a 1% chance of rain and 49 laps. Obviously, I wonder with these cars, is it about 30 seconds, 40 seconds to do a lap? Who knows? But anyway, that is it for this video today. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like, follow me on Twitter, all the usual stuff that goes into a goodbye on a video. But anyway, I'll see you next time down the road in Yokohama for the Japanese Grand Prix, and goodbye.